Hello everyone, I am finally back with a card. I haven't been feeling so great lately and a lot on my plate. So my card making videos have kind of fallen by the wayside, but I finally took some time today when Caitlin was napping and I wanted to make a Valentine card that could also be used really year round. Like I didn't want it to specifically say Happy Valentine's Day. So I pulled out this Polycraft rain image. This is from CC Designs and I inked it up with Hero Arts black dye ink. And my card base is Copic, CC Designs Copic quality 110-pound white cardstock, which I use for not only Copic coloring, but I also use it for the majority of my card bases because I like the 110-pound weight. So I stamped it on the bottom of the card, and my original plan when I was like starting to think about all this, I was going to use, pattern paper and ribbon and all kinds of little embellishments. And then I started thinking about how cute this image would look with little like raindrops coming down or something. And I was like, oh, what about maybe like little falling hearts? And then I remembered I had a stencil with like falling hearts. So I stamped the image first onto the card base. And then this is Simon Says Stamp 8.5 by 11 masking paper. So I stamped the image again onto just the bottom of the masking paper because I don't want to waste a bunch of it. And for trimming it out, I just went straight up from the bottom to the edge of the little umbrella. The only area that really needed to be fussy cut was all along the top of the umbrella and that little froggy that's on there. The rest of it was irrelevant, so I could just do a straight cut because basically, obviously, the umbrella is kind of protecting the area under it, so I didn't have to fussy cut out that entire image, so why bother? So once it was cut out, I adhered it over the stamped image on the card base. And then I'm going to pull out this Falling Hearts stencil, which I love. I think I've only used it one or two other times. Again, I just have not had the time this year to get to all the things I want to do. So I lined up the stencil over the card base here and then taped it into place with some painter's tape. And I've just got my Ranger craft sheet. It's just taped to to a masonite board with double-sided tape. Yeah, it just gives it that extra strength and sturdiness, and that way I can just kind of toss it around wherever I need it, and it gives it that extra little sturdiness. So after I did that, I took out 4 little dabs of the Wendy Vecchi white embossing paste, and with embossing paste, it's something I know. A little goes a long way. It's always something I have to remind myself of because I tend, especially if I'm going to mix custom colors, I usually end up having way more than I need. But yeah, a little bit goes a long way. So with this, I wanted to make 4 different colors because I thought how cool it would look to do sort of an ombre look. So I pulled out my gelatos, which I haven't used in forever, but I filmed another video that'll be coming up right away on how I store my coloring mediums. And I was, going through all these gelatos. I'm like, I need to use these. So they were in the back of my head. So I pulled out 4 different colors and I started with guava, which was my lightest pink, and just scraped a bit off and mixed it with the paste. And then I went on to my next darkest color, which is metallic melon. And the one thing with gelatos is they are water soluble because they're basically like watercolor sticks. So they mix up really nicely with embossing paste. You just have to work with it a little bit more than you would like just in plain ink or anything like that. So you just got to scrape it back and forth and really push the color fragments into the embossing paste. And yeah, if you don't mix it enough, you end up with a lot of speckles of the gelatos. It kind of just is up to personal preference on how you want the end result to look. So I mixed up that one, and then I did bubblegum, which was the pink, and then finally red cherry as my darkest. And once I had them all mixed up, I'm going to start applying it from darkest to lightest. So just starting at the top, I just start scraping it over my stencil, and I purposely don't clean my tool between adding the colors because I want them to kind of mix together as it's creating this kind of ombre effect. And it looks like a hot mess right here. This is another thing that kind of irks my OCD because it's like, oh my goodness, this just looks horrible. But you have to remember, this is all going to get peeled off. So applied the red and then the darker pink and then this sort of melony color, which mixes nicely with the pink. And then finally add my lightest color to the stencil. And not really worrying, obviously, the area where I have masked off. I'm not even like worried about applying the embossing paste over that. Just whatever does go over it obviously is masked off. But I don't want to waste the paste. And I kind of lucked out here. I had just enough. Usually I have either too much or too little, but this time around I had just the right amount. So got it all applied, and then I just take a baby wipe to wipe off my little spatula and to wipe off my craft sheet. Because yeah, the faster you clean this stuff, the better. It's just easier. So that wipes off really nicely. And then I peel the stencil off and I take that immediately to my kitchen sink and rinse it off. Otherwise, put it in a dish of water if you're not going to put it in the sink right away. Because again, it's easier to clean off when it's still wet. Otherwise, you could either ruin your stencil or you're going to have to spend a really long time trying to scrub it clean. So clean the stencil, came back. Now I'm going to peel off the mask I had created. So that cleans up the little image, just like so. And then I decided to color in the image with my Prismacolor pencils, my colored pencils, and odorless mineral spirits. At first, I wasn't going to use the odorless mineral spirits, but as I was coloring it, I was like, oh, I don't really like how this is looking. So at least the odorless mineral spirits kind of smooths everything out and makes it look a heck of a lot better. I do have separate videos on my channel that I posted quite a long time ago about just the basics of Prismacolor pencils, odorless mineral spirits, all that sort of info. It's like a 20-minute long video, and I like even discuss this little jar I use, which is just a jar that I've put a little sponge in, and then I pour the artist grade odorless mineral spirits over it. And then that's what I dip my little blending stumps into to pick up the odorless mineral spirits and blend them and everything. Yeah. So the only thing I always say when I show this is make sure you are using artist grade odorless mineral spirits, not paint thinner, not from the paint department of any hardware store. You know, that kind of stuff is dangerous to use and inhale and all that. You want it to be artist grade. There is a huge difference. And I have that linked, I think, in my original Prismacolor video too, because I've gotten a lot of questions about that and people saying like, oh, I found some at Walmart, you know, in the paint section. I'm like, do not use that. It is so not good for you to be inhaling. And like this stuff, even though they call it odorless, it does have a bit of a scent. But the funny thing is even right now, I am pregnant. My sense of smell is extreme. And I couldn't even smell this today when I was using this. Like, you use small amounts. That's another reason why I have just this little jar. And I'll close the jar in between if I'm going to go do something else, whatever. And I'm not sitting like right over it. I'm in a big, well-ventilated room as well. That's another thing. It's just common sense. So, anywho, any more info though, check out that Prismacolor video. But yeah, I just sped up this whole coloring process because I didn't do anything too fancy. I just wanted the color down. I didn't want to do a whole bunch of like blending and fancy techniques or anything like that. One, because again, Caitlin woke up from her nap in the middle of this process, and then the girls got home from school, all this stuff. So I had kids running around and just kind of all out chaos going on around me as I'm trying to finish this little card. So once I was done the coloring, I flipped the card over so that I'm stamping on the inside, and I just used Memento Angel Pink ink to stamp the main image again on the inside. And then I just got a sentiment from my Elegant Valentine set that said Showers of Love, which was perfect for this little image. And like I said, I didn't want to use a Happy Valentine's Day or specifically Valentine's sentiment for this. So this for any occasion all year round, you know, thinking of you, bridal shower, anything really. So I used my stamp positioner to stamp the sentiment on the inside of the card and didn't realize I was practically off camera when I did that. So sorry about that. But yeah, kept the inside really simple, just like so. And then as a last little embellishment, I grabbed my Imagine Crafts Irresistible Pico Embellisher, the shimmer one. I've shown this in 1 or 2 videos previously. And yeah, it's kind of like glossy accents with shimmer, except it's a little bit thinner consistency, so you don't get as raised of an image. But it also comes with this super, super fine detailed tip, which is perfect for getting into really small areas. So I thought I would use it to just outline the hearts on the umbrella and just little spots here and there in the main image. So it gives it that little bit of gloss, a little bit of shimmer, but yet not total glitter overload. Since I went to all the effort of the stenciled hearts, I kind of wanted those to be somewhat of the focus, and then the image is just a little bit bumped up with this shimmer. And yeah, this lid comes with, it's got basically a wire that goes inside the applicator so that it never clogs. This is, I don't know how many times I've used it yet, and it hasn't clogged. This thing's amazing. So As always, I will link below the video to my blog post as well as provide links to all the supplies used. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure to check it out below. And thank you guys, as always, so much for watching and subscribing and thumbs upping my videos. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.